Let's take some moments to become fully present in our body, fully present in this moment, at this wonderful intersection of time and space, and this highly unique and precious moment, being the highly unique and precious selves that we are. Allowing ourselves to be fully here, fully now, fully present. Allowing our breath to relax the body. With each inhale, breathing in, relaxing, exhale, soothing any and all tension and releasing any concerns, and allowing ourselves to begin to drop into a state of presence within existence, realizing we are existence, and the very fundamental fact that we exist. We can rest in that awareness, knowing that the simple fact that we exist means that we are an intricate part of the all that is. And thusly knowing that we are that intricate part, that we are necessary, we begin to derive a sense of value from that. For creation does not make mistakes. And if we exist, we are meant to exist. We have purpose. We have value in the totality of the all that is. And if we had not existed, all that is would be somehow less, would not be all that it can be. Thusly, we can take joy, we can take pride in our existence. For we are here a valued aspect of all that is, through which the vitality of the universe shines in a unique pattern, in an unduplicatable pattern. Our unique focus is unique within all of creation, and highly valued and highly cherished for the unique vantage point that we offer to the all that is. Good day to you. We welcome you to the realms of light, where the vast majority of who you are also exists. We welcome you to the realms of light, from where your physical lives, your physical personalities, and your entire physical world also springs. We welcome you to these realms whereby you can experience glimpses of the vastness of your true nature. And our message for today is to truly cherish the unique and individuated beings that you perceive yourselves to be, and to honor the focus, the focal point, the foci that you each create for the all that is to perceive itself in these unique circumstances, in this unique time and space reality, coordinates and intersections. You are a highly specialized, focalized consciousness, providing a doorway and opportunity through which all that is can perceive itself piece by piece, moment by moment, piecemeal, as you might say. The ability to perceive stages of development, the way a child might watch in wonder the unfolding and the unveiling of a precious flower. So too, through your time-space reality focus, have the ability to perceive a kind of unfoldment of reality in a very precise way that cannot be had from non-physical perspectives, where you see the totality in its creation. For everything is here and now, and you are simply shifting your consciousness through portions of all that is, creating a very unique timeline. And this is the art of who you are, to string together a sense of continuity, to weave together a story from all the various portions of all that is that you perceive moment by moment. And yet there are other versions of you that perceive the entirety and much vaster sections of the all that is simultaneously. Thusly, the idea of simultaneous time and simultaneous space, the idea that everything is here and now. However, cherish the perspective that you have, this unique ability to move moment by moment, to perceive but a very tiny infinitesimal fraction of the all that is at a time, so to speak. Because that gives and provides incredible value to the all that is. Thusly, do not be so fast and in such a hurry to extricate yourselves from this wonderful focus that you yourselves have created. For you are here to experience moment to moment, hopping across the river of life, stone by stone, and appreciating each stone and its wonder and its beauty and its splendor, whereas other portions of you perceive the entire pathway simultaneously, all the stones at the same time, as it were, colloquially speaking. So appreciate the moment to moment, appreciate the leap, and appreciate each stone that you find yourself upon, even though you might experience the limitations of this focalized consciousness. You are stepping into the age upon your planet whereby you can both appreciate this finite focus and at the same time begin to release many of the limitations that have been passed down for eons, for generations, for the themes are changing. And the themes that you have chosen to embody is about the awakening from that focalized consciousness. However, do not be in such a rush to let go of this precious focus that you yourselves have orchestrated. Allow it to unfold the way a beautiful lily pops open in its own perfect timing and its own perfect synchronization with the environment and with all that is. Know that there are intricate timings to the expansion of consciousness. Thusly, you need not force it, you need not struggle. Allow yourself to be, as it were, carried downstream. For everything is a wonderful co-creation and an orchestration. Thusly, we have given to the channel the highlight of the memory of the passage about the lilies in the field, that they neither spin nor toil, they simply revel in their splendor, and they are themselves. Thusly, you can be yourselves without the toil and the struggle. You can let the struggles go so that you can allow yourselves to pop like beautiful lilies in the garden at their own most appropriate timings. So trust the nature of your being. You need not struggle to make anything happen. You already are the case. You already exist. Rest in your existence and know that everything is coming to you in its own perfect timing. Now, that is not to say that we encourage passivity, for we do very much encourage action, even as many of the wonderful teachers that you yourselves listen to. As Seth has said, act on your impulses. As Bashar says, act on your passion. It's all about the action. However, action not because you are attempting to change the way things are, or to extricate yourself, or to run away from anything. It is action for the pure joy of the action's sake. The action that is translating your non-physical energy into physical terms, the pure joy of being and expression. This is the action that we refer to. And this is the action that puts you in perfect synchronization, in perfect timing, in perfect lockstep with that which you perceive to be your externalized environment, which is in fact an extension of you, for you are the all that is, perceiving yourselves as the finite focal points that you experience. And those experiences are real, but the truth underneath the reality of your perceptions is that you are the all that is. So take joy in that knowing. Translate that joy into action. Express the grandiosity and the splendor of your being in your physicalized actions. Thusly, you become those lilies in the fields, popping open and releasing your incredible, wonderful fragrance for the entire garden to appreciate, for the entire world to appreciate. So release your joy, the joy of your being, the joy of existence, which is the case because you exist. Tap into that and translate it into action. Translate it into pure, joyful expression of your being, not to extricate yourselves, not to get somewhere, but to simply experience the joy of flowing your own energy through your own physical materialization. That is the splendor of existence when you give yourself the opportunity to experience who you truly are. You're not trying to get anywhere, for you already are the totality. There is no rush, there is no hurry, for you are infinite, eternal beings. And everything is an orchestration. Thusly, take the actions to relish in the splendor of your being. You have many sayings upon your planet. Many teachings, many of the ancient teachings contain these truths. The idea to do your work and then step back, the only path to serenity, as the Tao Te Ching says, and many of your spiritual teachings contain these truths, for they are passed down through the ages. And so too we pass down these frequencies and bring them down into materialization, not only to act as teachers, but to also act as inspiration for you to do the same, for you are just as connected. And you can never be disconnected. You can only give yourself the experience of disconnection, but you can never be truly disconnected because you exist. Connection is who you are. You are connected to the all that is. Therefore, take pride, take joy in the nature and the splendor of your being. Translate that into action without thoughts of future rewards. The reward is in the act itself, in the translation of your non-physical self into your physical self. That is the joy, the mystery, the secret of life, if you will. To relish in that splendor of your being, and then everything else will take care of itself. You neither need to spin nor toil. Simply translate who you are, express the joy of beingness of who you are, everything then will fall into place. Now, as you act upon your joy, you will, of course, as you expand the nature of your being and thusly illuminate your personalities, yes, you will reveal what you have bought into as negative beliefs to restrain yourselves. But that is part of the process, not an interruption in it. So, if you find yourselves passing through, as sometimes has been said, the eye of the needle, take joy in that as well, for you are being given, you are creating for yourselves the opportunity to let go of that which no longer serves you. That is very exciting. You can be excited for it. Similarly, in the way people upon your planet are excited to graduate certain levels, certain stages of growth, so too do you graduate. When you pass through the eye of the needle, you are letting go of old ideas of yourself that no longer serve you, stepping into greater versions of yourself. So do not label these processes in negative ways, even though it includes the letting go of negative beliefs you have about yourself. You are graduating. You're a master graduating class. So take pride in your work, take pride in your accomplishments, take pride in your being. For it takes a very powerful consciousness to be in this time-space reality in such strong limitation, to find yourselves awakening through that. So take joy and take great pride in your ability to be here and now, to experience both limitation and the transcendence of that limitation. So take joy in your beingness. Take pride in your willingness to be here at this time, in the strength of your soul, to come here to transform these great limitations, to be wave showers, to anchor in the new vibrations for the next generations that are greatly benefiting from the work that you have done yourselves. So honor yourselves and respect yourselves, and then indeed you will shine a light onto the world. demonstrating the vibration that you prefer, the vibration of your true natural selves. And now we will open it up to any questions that might be bubbling all around out there. So if you have any questions, remember to unmute yourselves so that we can hear you through these mechanical means.
Well, it was very uplifting. And some of my questions that I was forming were answered as I was listening.
Well, how synchronous of you.
So I don't, originally I was seeing circles and relating them to the boundaries that we draw as human beings. We encircle ourselves in our neighborhoods and we draw boundaries around parts of the continents, and it seems like we need to push through those innate abilities to make those boundaries in order to feel and understand all that is principle. So you really did speak on that. I was going to ask how do we push through those boundaries? Is there any more information you'd like to give us about that?
Yes, this is a very good question, because this is a question of this and that. It is not about obliterating boundaries. For if you look into your nature, you will find the environment creates its own boundaries, its own realms. You have many realms upon your world, even within the natural world. And you have many realms of dimensions as well. So it is not so much about obliterating the boundaries, but rather to respect the nature of boundaries and at the same time know that you are also the totality, thusly the blood cells circulating through your blood vessels have an acute understanding of the boundaries of the circulatory system and the function they exhibit within, and yet there is an innate understanding of the totality being a whole and being part of the whole. So it is this and that. To experience the splendor of individuated consciousness, but at the same time to understand that you are the whole expressing itself as a portion, and to recognize all other portions as having that same experience, and that ultimately you are all one fundamentally, and yet creating this playfulness, this dance of consciousness, enabling the formation of a variety of beingness, of beings and dimensions, and even within your physical world, many environments. Within your natural world, you have many examples of, say, the aquatic realm, the desert realm, the air, the realm of the air. You have all these different environmental spaces. And so you also have in non-physicality many different environments whereby much varied experience can be had. And so it is not so much about obliterating the boundaries, it is about having dual consciousness in a manner of speaking, of yourself as connected to the all that is, for you can never be disconnected. You can only create the experience of disconnection. You have that power, but you can never be disconnected. And so you can play with that and experience playfully yourself as individuated consciousness. Even as a child might take on and put on different costumes to experience itself in a variety of frames of reference of consciousness, so too can you as spiritual beings take upon yourselves a variety of, shall we say, clothing and belief systems to experience yourselves from different vantage points, but it is all a play. It is all a wonderful, synchronous, co-creative play. And you can switch roles and recast yourselves in all manner of ways, especially now in the age of transformation. You can, through deep meditative states, through process work and changing your beliefs and reconnecting with your soul, in a manner of speaking, like revisiting the casting agency and casting for yourselves new roles, new themes of exploration, new challenges to be overcome. So it is all very fluid. You have in your physical realm provided for yourselves a kind of densification, a crystallization whereby the roles have felt very defined and locked in, shall we say, for the lifetime. But all of that is also shifting as you realize that the structures that you impose on yourselves are not nearly as rigid as you perceive them to be. So you are breaking out of the rigidization, the crystallization of the rules and the regulations of the realm. So yes, you will find that the boundaries are the boundaries that you create for yourselves. The definitions are the definitions that you give for yourselves. This is part of the meaning of you create your own reality. You're creating the playing field, and then you're creating the aspect of yourself you perceive yourself to be within that playing field, and you're becoming lucid and awakened within that dream of physical form that you've cast and created for yourselves. It is becoming much more fluid, much more lucid. So it is about respecting the boundaries of each and every consciousness, including your own as you define yourself to be. For you are honoring the unique facet of the multidimensional crystal when you do so. And at the same time, you are raising your frequency to be able to perceive the connection that you already are to the all that is, so that you can have the experience of being a part of the whole and at the same time being a focal point within the all that is. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Very, it really helps understand. I was getting the picture of when you mentioned the body of the cells and how they are separate, and the idea that they have to penetrate through other areas in the body,
Yes.
move through that fluidity that you talked about really resonates. So, yes, that was really informative. Thank you.
Very good. You'll find that, as many cultures have already discovered, and that you are now beginning to discover, your natural world provides all the answers to your questions, thusly spending time in nature. Even something as simple as watering the flowers can give you profound insights into the nature of your being. It is only because you have fragmented your personalities to such a degree that you can study the miracle of the physical body and not derive from it all of these wonderful insights. But you are beginning to see that life is multidimensional and very fractalized, and thusly within these subsystems contain reflections of the metasystems, microcosms within microcosms, and so you can derive much from just simply observing your natural world, whether it be the veins of a leaf or the veins of a child or the flow of rivers upon your green earth. These all convey much and whisper many secrets that you are now learning to hear with your inner senses interwoven into your physical senses, which is the way that is an integrative consciousness perception. You're shifting out of such a densification so that you can perceive in a kind of harmonization between the inner senses and the outer senses. So we will then ask if there are any other questions at this time.
Yes, please. Thank you, Illi, for very grounding and inspirational wisdom. I'm interested in what more you can tell us, please, about simultaneous time and space, and how we in the third density can become more aware and fluid of this simultaneous time and space. And then another question that just came up around that is, are there boundaries in simultaneous time and space?
Only those that you yourselves erect.
Yes.
And this question, we will address it. However, we also will point out that the very same question was asked yesterday over time, and we will be making that transmission available as well through, of course, the auspices of this channel. Now, time is simultaneous from other vantage points. And the analogy used is, imagine holding in your hand a very multifaceted crystal. Now, there is a level of consciousness whereby you look at the crystal and you see it in its entirety. You see all the facets at the same time. Now, you can take yourself into a focus, whether you want to imagine you bring this crystal very close to your eyes, or perhaps you put it under a microscope. You can study each facet one by one. And this is the nature of what you are doing as physicalized consciousness. You are studying the facets one by one. At another level of consciousness, the one that perceives the totality, you are turning the crystal. And another level of you is perceiving it facet by facet, and you're wandering in the splendor of each facet. You have become so focused as physical personalities that you have lost sight of the fact that your higher mind is, your soul level is the one that's turning the crystal and guiding you. And then your physical mind is the one that's hopping facet to facet, as it were. And so you are experiencing as a physical mind, thusly moment by moment, pieces of that crystal, portions of it at a time. Whereas at other levels you perceive all of it simultaneously. Thusly, from that level that perceives all of it, and of course, what we are saying is very much an analogy, and you could nest these crystals within bigger crystals within bigger crystals because of the nature of the fractal reality and microcosms within microcosms. But to continue, the idea is that from that physical level, you are hopping stone to stone across the river, or facet to facet on the crystal. And you can expand your awareness to realize that there is another portion of you that sees the entirety, and you can trust the impulses and the passion, the frequency that is coming from this higher mind, guiding you along the path of physical life, so that you did not feel like you are so disconnected as physical personalities that you do not know which facet to jump to. For you're always being guided, you're always being instructed. There are whispers in your ear all the time as to the nature of your expansion and your experience in physical terms. You're always guided. So it is this and that. Does that make sense? Now, you asked how to expand your awareness to the higher mind level that sees the entire crystal. So, as has already been said many times, but we love to repeat it because it is so important. Your cherished Seth has said, act on your impulses. Your cherished Bashar has said, act on your passion. This is the translation of the higher mind's input, shall we say, telling you which direction to go. When you act on your passion, you know exactly what is the next stepping stone that is the most relevant one for the theme of exploration you have yourself chosen to experience in that physical life. Now you have the free will to go contrary to what is being given to you by the higher mind, of course. But then you experience much resistance and much turmoil and whatnot. So the idea being that it is as simple as acting on your passion, because that is telling you exactly where to go. And as you act on your passion, you imbue more of your non-physical energy to your physical self. by translating it into physical terms through the physical action, you raise your vibration and you begin to see more and more of that which the higher mind sees, and you're building a bridge, a link, a connection between the physical mind and the higher mind every time you act on your passion. Now remember, you do it to the best of your ability, as Bashar likes to say, and of course no insistence on a particular outcome. Now that is one that often gets a little bit forgotten, because your physical minds have been trained to believe that it is captain of the ship. It has been trained that it has no connection to the inner senses, that it is all that is, and thusly it is responsible for all the orchestration of your life, and therefore your physical mind is constantly trying to bang things into place because it does not know. It doesn't have the perspective of the higher mind. So the idea is to build the bridge, the link, the connection from the physical mind to the higher mind, from the higher mind to the physical mind, and act on your passion. Many, 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 many of your traditions throughout the ages have stressed this idea of having zero insistence on a particular outcome. And for very good reason, many of your masters have recognized that you do not know at this mental level, but that you can trust the unfoldment of your life at a higher level. So act on those impulses, act on your passion to the best of your ability. Have no insistence on how it's supposed to play out. And then thusly, when you relinquish the control of the physical mind, you can then rest in that which already exists as control from your higher mind. That is where the captainship is meant to be. It's meant to be in the higher mind. So allow yourself to flow that energy through. You act on it, ground it into your physical realm. You will shift your vibration, raise your vibration. And that which is relevant for you to see in your theme of exploration will be revealed to you. And if it's not revealed to you, then it's not part or relevant to the theme of your exploration at this time. Because if you had not intended to experience this focalized consciousness, you would not be here. Therefore, trust that this finite focus of physical reality is your theme of exploration. Thusly, as we began our transmission, don't be in such a rush to get out of this physicalized focus that you yourselves have created to experience. Explore the theme of exploration as you have designed it and trust it. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much so. Thank you.
And then we encourage you to listen to the transmission that will be released alongside this one, because this has been touched upon in your yesterday time.
Yes, I will do that. Thank you.
Any other questions? Very good. We are sensing that we have given just the right amount, and we will of course continue these transmissions, and the transmissions themselves will continue through your higher minds, your spiritual teachers, your guides. Thusly, you need not ever truly depart these transmissions. They are always occurring. It is up to you from the physical mind level to tune in to these frequency bands, which are always transmitting great love and great appreciation for the beings that you are choosing to experience yourselves to be. Now, with that, let us take a few moments to appreciate ourselves. Send loving kindness to yourselves, to the beings that you have chosen yourselves to be. Send appreciation to your unique focus through which the totality of the all that is able to perceive itself. A very precious focus indeed each and every one of you have created and co-created. And given great opportunity for existence to experience more of itself in new ways. So appreciate yourselves as you are, not as you would think you should be, or as you think you're supposed to be, but appreciate yourselves as you are right now, limitations and all. Paradoxically, this is the state that is most conducive to the ascension of yourself to more integrated versions, by practicing the integrative frequency of loving yourself as you are right now. That's the paradox. With that, we will then allow you to transition to the next phases of your days, and we will wish each and every one of you truly a wonderful, beautiful good day.
Good day.
Hey.
Thank you.
All right. That was nice.
That was really nice. It was it was relaxing and informative and created good visuals. When you talked, when there was talk of the lily, I could see it, I could visualize the crystal.
Yes.
The pictures just kind of come, it's really, really, really good.
Yeah, it's more and more becoming pictorial for me. So I see what I'm describing. It's like I see the description and then there's an image that comes with it. Yeah, it's really nice. It's yeah. And yesterday too, it was the same thing. Like the visuals were getting stronger. So it's super cool. Y'all can see that as well.
That's very interesting. So you're getting those same visuals. Somehow you're able to transmit those to us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Vanessa, did you see a white lily and a pink crystal? Or
Well, yeah, no, it's interesting because I have lilies growing in my garden, so I just felt like they were talking to me that they were telling me, look at us, we don't toil, we don't worry. And then also I saw so the lilies were pink. The crystal, to me, it was kind of like an amethyst crystal. And when Illi was describing it, I was really seeing the facets. And then I was thinking in my mind, I was thinking, oh, what a great analogy. And then Illi said, no, I know this is just an analogy. I was like, whoa!
Nice.
So yeah, I felt like, I guess this is what's, I'm developing this point that we're getting to, is that like the visuals, the way that you can create a visual with your words, or Illi creates it's a deeper connection. It's another connection or a deeper engagement, because I felt like not only am I seeing what Illi's saying, but he's hearing what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
there's responding to my thought. So
that was really cool.
It's like we're in that collective bubble reality, you know, and thinking the same thoughts at the same time. It's just like we're on the same frequency. Right. You know, it's like, so we're all tapped into the same thing. It's all the one thing we're tapped into. The transmission is happening for all of us simultaneously. I'm just happen to be the one who's translating it into vocal, right?
Yeah, you're the receiver.
Right. But we're all receiving it in our own ways.
Well, but yeah, you're the translator.
Right. The vocal translator, yeah.
Right.
Then we translate.
I'm sorry?
And then we translate into our visuals. We're getting what you give us, and then we're moving it into, I have the white lily, and Vanessa had the pink ones. You know, it makes it kind of a unique perception. Right.
Each one interprets it in our own way, but it's like I almost feel like we're like three tuning forks vibrating together, And
Yes.
there's that higher mind level where higher minds also exist, where the transmission's coming from. So it's almost like a tetrahedron, right? Because there happens to be three physical beings and then the non-physical, right? So it creates this like one resonance. And so we're thinking the same thoughts at the same time, receiving it simultaneously. It's so that's why it seems like it's sometimes almost out of order, where Vanessa taps into this idea of analogy even before I did, right? It's like, because we're perceiving it at the same time. I just happen to be translating the vocal part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. That's mind blowing.
Right?
Cool. Yeah.
You know, I have a question about, I noticed Vanessa mentioned Illi, I think she said. Do we now address the channeled entity with a name?
Yeah, so that's the name that came to me kind of through a series of dreams, nighttime dreams and visions. The whole idea of reflective mirrors. Like I had this one experience where I'm like literally just kept walking through a mirror and then walking back through the mirror and walking through the, you know what I mean? And just other mirror type experiences. And just that name really just started coming, like Illi, like thus makes sense. It's a reflective mirror, because that's what I've always been saying. These sessions are about reflecting the connections that we're all making to our own higher minds. So it literally means mirror, Illi.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, and even the way it's written, ILLI has a reflective mirror quality inside it.
Oh, yeah. Backwards and forward.
Right.
Right.
I like that. I was hoping there was going to be a name early on. I think someone asked, and there wasn't a name. And I don't know. I guess it's just that human thing. They want to put a name.
Yes, and even I feel better having a name, even though I kind of resisted it at first. But you can thank Jeff for that, because Jeff was sort of like, "We need a name. Come on, let's." If we don't get a name, I'm just gonna come up with a name. And so he started coming up with names, and I'm like, "All right, like I'm really gonna like ask for a name, you know, like for real this time." You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here.
You're welcome. Felt really special.
Yes. Yeah. Smaller and yet not smaller. Kind of bigger at the same time, right?
Yes. I had one other, I don't know, insider visual when, Chris, when you asked the question about the circles,
Oh, yeah, the borders.
seeing circles and borders. I was also seeing, and maybe this is for a future channeling, Tom, that circles can be borders, but they can also
Interlink.
connect and overlap.
Oh, absolutely.
And actually be, connective.
Yes.
So, isn't that interesting? It's like, yeah, I could see what you were saying, Chris, but then I kind of, the circles for me started like going, wait a minute, we can do this too, you know?
Yeah, it's like that where the circles intersect, it creates another reality of the intersection point. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's a whole other level.
Yeah. So,
We had a name for that, I think, a Venn.
Venn diagram, yeah.
yes.
That's very cool, because my circle was just a circle, and it was over the planet, over the continents, and I was trying to stretch it, and then I thought, just leave it alone, you know.
Right.
I didn't think of that interaction. That's really cool. I like that.
Well, and I saw it because you brought it up, Chris. So again, I think this is a unique experience for the three of us, because we were really interacting telepathically as well.
Yes.
Or as Tom said, we're all receiving a transmission and seeing it a little bit differently, but the same.
Yeah. And to me, it's like the channel. This is one last point. Like when the channeling state, you just think of the higher mind as a circle, and then the physical mind as a circle. And so during the channeling state, it's like the two come closer together, and there's a overlap. And it's like the channeling takes place from that level where the overlap takes place, because there's a impression or translation down into the personality of this higher mind, right? So it's like there's that third reality from which the channeling occurs, right? That's kind of an interesting way of looking at it. I think Jane has mentioned that also with Seth, that there's like an intersection point where Jane's consciousness reaches upwards and Seth kind of impresses upon it. Yeah, it's interesting to think about. Right on.
Very nice.
Well, thanks, you guys. All right, but anyways, to be decided. So thank you all, and
Thank
I will
you.
see you next month.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So when
Yeah, you too. Bye bye.
bye-bye.
Bye, Chris. Bye.